Welcome back to Sam and Ham.
This is Sam.
And this is Ham.
And what are we doing today?
We're going to be trying a new format called Fan or Ban.
Fan or ban?
Yes, I'm very good at the rhyming.
Ah, good job. You passed kindergarten.
Thanks.
So how do you play fan or ban?
So I have 5 magical weapons for you today.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you what they do. And between the two of us, we discuss if we are a fan, and it should be in a game, or we ban, and it should not be in a game.
Gotcha. Okay. So either we like it or we don't. And we're just giving an arbitrary opinion based off of Harvard, MIT, and the United Nations.
Yes, of course. If anybody doesn't agree with us, they're just wrong, unfortunately. Sorry to be the one to tell you.
You sound very sorry.
Oh, horribly. So you ready to get started?
Sure, let's get started.
Okay. So, this first one is the Crossbow of Shame. It is a light crossbow. It is common rarity.
Mm-hmm.
This light bow is permeated with the shame of countless spellcasters that have used it instead of relying on their magic. If you make an attack with this crossbow and you are able to cast spells, every creature within 30 feet of you knows your exact location.
Gotcha. So this sounds more like a cursed item than a magic weapon.
Yeah, a little bit. I've been playing in a campaign, and I've been a level 3 wizard, unfortunately, and I've got enough dexterity to the point where my crossbow outdamages my magic. And then I came across this item, and I had to talk about this. It makes me sad.
It does.
I had 16 dexterity. What else was I to do?
Uh-huh.
I have brought shame to my wizard forefathers. So therefore, I think this should be a cursed item with a slight modification of once you have picked it up, you are stuck with it for some time until you can get it, uncursed or something.
Gotcha. As much as I love chaos, though, I don't like cursed items.
You, of all people, don't like cursed items? I thought you liked cursed items.
No.
That's fair.
Unfortunately, they hinder my usage of things. Why have an object if I am, degraded for using it?
To trick you. It was tomfoolery. You shouldn't have picked up that shiny weapon. How dare you?
So I'm being punished for being a loot goblin.
Yes. Stop grabbing things. Stop it.
My vote is banned.
That's fair. I don't really have much more argument to say that this should be in a game.
Oh no, you should totally punish people who aren't using spells. Like a druid who doesn't shapeshift? Wrong.
That's fair.
Wizard who uses a sword? Even worse.
Nah, if that wizard can get away with it, you use that sword, wizard. I'm a fan of blade singers, though, so.
Well, that's totally different. That's the magic in the sword, not...
Or
magic through the sword. The sword is the wand at that point.
That's kind of fair. Okay.
But I'm gonna put a big old ban.
Done. Alright. I'll win you over with this next one.
Okay.
The Blade of Wealth.
Okay, I'm seeing solid gold.
Yes, it is an uncommon greatsword.
Mm-hmm.
This great sword's blade has 4 solid gold sections, each worth 100 gold apiece. A section breaks off if you score a 1 on an attack roll with this weapon, or if you use an action to do so. Every time a section is removed, the greatsword becomes a different weapon in the following order. Greatsword to longsword to shortsword to dagger. If you remove the final section, the weapon becomes a mundane hilt. It brings a whole new meaning to being a sellsword.
Ah.
To being a sellsword.
Ah.
You look pained.
A little.
Yes.
So basically, unless you roll a nat 1, this is basically for introducing the nat 1 consequences.
Yes.
Okay. Are all these cursed items you should put
No,
in
okay,
cursed item edition?
Sorry, it does get cooler. I'm working my way up in cool. I had to start off kind of lame, and then we're working our way up.
Got you. So there's no bonuses to using this Blade of Wealth. You just lose a piece of sword.
Yes.
Do you get to sell the piece of sword though, or is it gone forever?
No, you can sell it. It just breaks off. Like snap it off like a Kit Kat. I can't. I have to imagine as a giant golden Kit Kat now.
You're laughing at your own jokes.
Yeah, I am.
That makes them not funny.
Hey, you smiled. That counts.
All right, I like this.
So it's not an amazing weapon. It's not a +1 weapon. It doesn't do anything, but it's cool loot that you can put in a chest or just be cool loot. It's mostly just money, really. That's what the players are going to do with it. But it gets a little boring whenever I just say, you know, when you guys find a new chest and you're like, what's in the chest? What's in the chest? Like excited loot goblin children. And I say, gold. And you go, yay, gold. Or I have to put a lot of effort into like trying to find items that I can give you. Like I know some people give out like gems and paintings and all kinds of other like not money loot. I've never really bothered because it basically just requires you guys to go sell it to get the same money that you would have anyway. It always just kind of seemed like one of those tedious, not fun things to me. Gotcha. However, this is similar, but actually can be useful.
I understand that. Looks like a pretty decent weapon. Again, what are the odds of you rolling in that one? That's 1 in 20.
That's 5%.
I know that percent goes up every time you roll it, just by a smidgen.
Yep.
But, you know, I like it. Worst case scenario is you got a hunk of gold that you either need to weld back on, or you sell it for 100 gold.
Ah, we must take our sword to the ye old welder.
Blacksmith, whatever. Either way. Fan or ban?
I'm a fan.
I agree. Fan.
Alright. Up next, we have the Lucky 7. So.
I only see one weapon, though.
So Lucky Weapon can be any weapon, and it does require attunement. It's rare. It's a finely made weapon is embosed with a golden 4-leaf clover on its hilt. This strange weighting in the weapon's handle that will occasionally make a mediocre attack strike true, almost as if the weapon has a mind of its own. This weapon scores a critical hit on a roll of 7 or 20.
Better chances of hitting a crit? I'm game. Fan. No more.
That was it?
That's all you need.
That's fair. One weird rules thing that I noticed being discussed about this weapon. There's not any rules, in 5th edition at least, to really explain what happens if you crit on a 7. Because a crit on a 20, it's a guaranteed hit every time. Nobody in the comment thread was positive. Is it a guaranteed hit on a 7? The consensus was yes, a critical hit always hits in 5th edition.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's how I'd roll it, but
I'm okay with it just doing the extra, you know, crit damage without it hitting. Like, you hit something hard.
Yeah.
Like, imagine that misses, but that armor's now damaged. Like, you lowered that AC.
There you go.
Like, I love that. Like, again, rules as written, I have no idea. But if a DM wants to swing it that other way and just go, all right, you missed technically with that 7 plus whatever you have to hit. But I mean, 7 plus 5 to hit is a pretty good average. 7, that's 12. So I don't know. You're not hitting because average AC is what, 13?
Yeah, at least. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure rules is written in 5th edition at least. It would automatically hit on a 7, but I'm not positive.
I'm not sure, but again, I like the idea of lowering an AC.
That's fair.
If you roll that 7, you crit, you damaging something.
You cracking bones. But okay, so we're fan?
I think we're a fan.
All
yes,
right.
Fan.
All right. Now this boy, the Bottled Blade.
Tell me less.
What? Now, so the Bottled Blade is an uncommon wondrous item. It's basically a bottle with a really long handle on it and a stopper. When you uncap the stopper as a bonus action, a blade forms for the next minute. It counts as a simple weapon with which you are proficient. It deals 2d8 damage on a hit and has the finesse and light properties, meaning you can both use dexterity and dual wield it if you want to.
Okay.
The type of damage the blade does is determined by the conditions in which it spent the previous night, much like me in most mornings.
Oh.
Once the bottle has been untoppered, it must be prepared in order to be used again. To prepare the bottle, it must be filled with water and left to sit for 8 hours in certain conditions. Depending on which conditions are fulfilled, depends on the damage type the next day. If none of the conditions are met, roll a d8 and it's done at random.
So it theoretically could be a wild magic blade.
Kind of. It's just for the damage type. If a vial of acid is added to the water, the potion turns green and you do acid type damage. If it's packed with ice or snow, it does cold. If it's buried under ash, it does fire. If it's covered in a mound of sand, it does lightning. If a blood is added to the water, it does necrotic. If a dose of poison is added to the water, it turns into poison. If it's kept in total darkness, it does psychic. And if you use holy water instead, it does radiant damage.
I like this. I am a fan.
It's very cool. I was a little worried about how strong it was, because it does 2d8 damage on a hit.
Yeah.
But it only lasts for a minute. So, and then somebody pointed out, basically, there's a spell called Shadowblade that does the same thing, and it's a 2nd level spell. It just requires concentration, so I think it's pretty well balanced, and I think it's just kind of cool looking.
Yeah, no, I think it's cool looking, and I like that added flavor text of how do you prepare for the night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I take out my bottle sword and I bury it in the campfire.
Yeah, I think that's cool. The only criticism I have on that is that the easiest one to do is Psychic, and Psychic is pretty much the best damage type in the game. You just shove it in a backpack and then it's in total darkness for the night.
Yeah, yeah. That, or again, if you're camping out for the night, you just bury it in ash.
True.
Actually, I mean, necrotic is also the easiest. You just prick your finger.
That's true too.
I mean, who doesn't have an extra dagger laying around for, pricking fingers?
I sure hope you have at least something lying around, because this guy only lasts a minute a day. So you better have a backup weapon.
Yeah, yeah. You're not wrong. But I like it. It's cool. It's different. Fan.
I agree. Now here comes the coolest one. I saw this one a long time ago, and I really wanted to introduce into a campaign, but I haven't had the chance to do so. Gale Hollow.
Uh-huh.
This is a very rare sword. It does require attunement. This sheathed blade serves as a prison for Goro Gora, a foul demon who plagued the land in times long past.
Mm-hmm.
Through invocation of the wind and sky, she was undone. A monk of elemental air inhabits the sheath, sworn to guard his prisoner for all time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a +2 magic weapon, right?
Gotcha,
it is sentient.
Mm-hmm.
The sheath is sentient and lawful good. The blade is chaotic evil.
Gotcha. Okay. And they're both sentient?
Yes, they're both sentient.
Ah, so they just argue.
Kind of. So communication. Both the blade and sheath have hearing and dark vision out to 120 feet and communicate telepathically with the wielder. However, only one can communicate at a time, and both wrestle for control. At first, the monk can communicate and the demon cannot. After using the last ability, for the first time each day, the demon can talk, but the monk can't. This cycle resets each day. It talks about the personality. Basically, the monk says, hey, put this weapon down, or be really careful, because if that demon gets out, everything bad happens. And the demon is ruthless and cunning, goading the wielder into drawing the blade however she can. So, to draw the blade, other than to perform Steel Wind Strike, which is the last ability, you must succeed on a charisma check opposed by the monk's wisdom check. If it is ever drawn, the demon breaks 3. The sheath shattered and the monk dies. The demon then appears as a Merilith in the nearest unoccupied space. Enraged by her imprisonment, she attempts to kill the wielder to the best of her ability.
Even though they tried to help him?
Yep.
Oh,
It is. Demons are kind of assholes. But as long as both beings remain within the weapon, you can perform a demonic wind technique that sees you draw, strike, and resheathe the blade within the same instant. This swift is so swift is this performance that the demon can't get out. As an action, you can perform Steel Wind Strike without requiring components. The blade's +2 bonus applies to the attacks. If you perform this technique more than once a day, there's a 50% chance with each use that the demon breaks free.
Gotcha, so you get to do an anime move.
Yes.
Of did they move?
That's
and then you fall in half?
Yes. So Steel Wind Strike is just a spell. It's a 5th level spell. Basically, you choose 5 people and you do the anime thing of you teleport between each one and attack them. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Gotcha.
Yeah, mostly it's cool for that Steel Wind Strike move. That's kind of all you can do with it without potentially unleashing a demon.
Yeah.
But it's still pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
I just love the sheath and the demon kind of wresting control from each other. It seems like a pretty cool, neat thing to me.
Yeah. Problem is you can only use that weapon basically once a day, or else you get a 50-50 chance.
Yeah.
I don't like those odds.
And that demon is not a small demon. That is a big demon.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a CR-16.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
Me neither. I'm thinking this needs to be a ban.
What? No. Really? I love this thing.
No, it's got way too much chaotic energy there, and again, you can only swing with it once a day. That switching weapons thing can kill you.
I'd also rule you could use the sheath as a club, because I think that's funny.
Clubs don't do that good of damage.
Oh, come on!
No, I'm gonna rule this as a ban.
That makes me cry, but at least I know I'm glad that I never gave you this weapon in a campaign.
Understandable.
So that's what, 3 out of 5?
3 out of 5, yeah. That's not bad for your first run through.
The fact that Gale Hollow didn't make it makes me sad.
Unfortunate.
But I found all of these on Reddit. I've got all the links in the description so you guys can go check them out, see the threads for yourself. Thank you to all the creators who have made such awesome pieces of homebrew for us to look at.
Yeah, definitely. This is definitely interesting. Checking out some stuff that the book didn't allow, or didn't think of first.
It's true.
How dare the wizards not think these things before you did.
Dang, wizards.
But until next time.
This is Ham.
And this is Sam.
Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.